What's going on, everybody? This is the blockchain backer bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. Today, we're taking a look at the XRP price chart. It's been a little while since we had a full video dedicated just to XRP. I did put out quite a long one last week, like 41 minutes long, but I figure we'll take kind of a closer look at what's been going on in this last week. My last several videos have really kind of given my synopsis of, what my personal opinions are of what's going on in the market right now. But if those things are true, and if, we're kind of reaching the ending stage here for Bitcoin, then I'm looking for excitement to show up on XRP, because that's what's happened at the end of all market cycles in the cryptocurrency market, is that XRP has gone on a surge. Obviously, there's still the overhanging stuff with the SEC. I'm always the type of person to believe that, events unfold when they're supposed to unfold, and the charts will tell us when it's time for that to happen. But we'll kind of take a closer look at what's going on here on the XRP price chart, and maybe, just maybe, events will unfold when they're supposed to. One of the things we've been looking at over here on the XRP price chart has been the structure that we've had going on here for the last 7 months. And that we've seen this corrective structure happen before in cryptocurrency, and nearly identical. And that would actually be the Bitcoin price chart from 2014, 15, 16, heading into 2017. And that the major correction that happened here in Bitcoin that lasted for 3 years is very similar to what's been going on with XRP over the course of the last 7 months. I'll try to go through it really quickly, but as you guys know, we have a first support level, then it breaks down with a double tap, and then, sideways, and then capitulation. It's precisely what we saw happen over here for Bitcoin back in 2014 with a corrective structure, right? You have your first initial support that comes in here, bouncing off of it, then finally breaking through support, testing it twice, sideways, capitulation. Initial support breaks through it, tests it twice, sideways, capitulation. Identical structures. You have your accumulation down at the bottom, you have your accumulation down at the bottom, breaks out, then Bitcoin pulls back down into the capitulation level, which is what we've seen happening over here on XRP, and XRP didn't quite make it as low. And I'm not so convinced that we are going to get that low any longer at this point. Enough time has elapsed that I don't seem it as likely that we're going to get that low, especially since we've already shown that we've ABC'd. But that's just my personal opinion. We'll see what the market does. Anyway, we've seen what's been happening with XRP at this point, right? Sideways consolidation happening out here. And we could see over here that there are pullbacks to the support, there are ABC corrections, and in this phase of getting out of here for Bitcoin back in 2016, it was a slow, grueling process until things just really started to gain some speed. Now, what I find kind of interesting about this is that's not what we typically see in XRP, right? We typically see that once the price gets going for XRP, it's just gone. There rarely is a time period of price growth that happens, and this isn't that slow, right? We're talking over the course of a year, the price of Bitcoin rose from $600, $700 and went all the way up to $20,000 over the course of a year. That's not that long. I know in cryptocurrency terms, that feels like it's a really long time, but it's not that long. But, in particular on XRP, that's a very rare thing for us to see it actually grind upwards like that, because we can look at every bullish impulse that has ever happened for XRP, and they are always in just big straight lines, or at least they only last a couple of weeks before they end up being over. And you can see every single impulse for XRP has nearly just been a straight line. So if it is doing something like that, that would be a little bit different than what we've seen happen in all of these big impulses. And we can see even these little impulses right here, right? They go really fast every single time. But there's no doubt to me, it's just looking nearly identical to what a big corrective structure looked like for Bitcoin back in 2014, 15, and 16. And whether or not it is going to be grinding out like this or not, historically, that's not how XRP has played. XRP has typically gone off when the top of Bitcoin comes in. So Bitcoin is obviously struggling at these prices. It hit $69,000. Currently, we're at $63,200. In each of the previous bull runs for XRP and for the altcoin market, XRP began its monster surge as Bitcoin was pushing up to its top. Since XRP hasn't done that, it doesn't seem likely that Bitcoin's top is already in. It has already reached out to $69,000. The 4.236 extension for the entire bull market of Bitcoin is right out there to about 72, so it's very close. But in previous bull markets, when this final push up and when the top of Bitcoin was coming in, that's when XRP did already start to take off. That happened in both circumstances of the tops of Bitcoin coming in. So if we're going to use XRP as some type of indicator that the top of Bitcoin's coming in, well, it hasn't flashed that sign yet. But we can see where XRP is consolidating right now. It's right up here above that breakdown level. If we look at where Bitcoin was at that time, that would have been right around here. And that makes pretty good sense. We just came out of an ABC correction. We just came out of an ABC correction there in Bitcoin. Man, that, XRP is a head scratcher right at this point. 7 months of being stuck in all of these Fibonacci retracement levels, bouncing right in between them. We're just in serious consolidation. But I can tell you my confidence and my conviction on XRP is unwavered. I absolutely love that this whole bull market has gone into a massive run. There's a lot of money that's poured into specific assets. And I think the best thing about it is it's those top market cap charts that are those top coins in the market, your Ethereums and your Bitcoins and all the stuff in the top 10 that are already really high, right? So a lot of the money is currently stuck in stuff that's already really high. And once the excitement fades out of that, it's not like having some stuff in the top, 200 or something, and there's just a little bit of money that can be rotated out of it. We're talking massive amounts. We're talking the big money in the market is already really high. And what's going to happen when those people no longer want to be in that anymore because the returns are not there anymore? So considering XRP is still so low, and considering that we typically see it take off when the top of Bitcoin comes in, and that we have this whole corrective structure that's identical to corrective structures that we've seen here in the cryptocurrency market before, in particular for Bitcoin, I'm really excited. The only problem is it's a waiting game and it's still just going sideways. So that's why over the course of the last couple of months, we've been spending more time really focusing on what's happening in the broader market aspect of this whole thing. But I can't wait for this thing to go. I do feel it's going to have that underdog story to it, that Mighty Ducks, like the Mighty Ducks maybe come back in the victory. It's going to be like some grand thing. And we've got to get there, right? But I always keep that conviction and that faith that that's how those things will work out, that it's going to be this story that has a happy ending to it. And it's one thing to just have blind faith. For me, I'm very much focused on charts. I really pay attention way more to what the charts are doing than what narratives are going on, what projects are doing, what great news do we have coming out. I really don't focus on those things. I really focus way more on what's actually happening within the charts. And that's why, for me with Bitcoin, I don't hold on to and I know a lot of people don't like hearing that, right? But I don't hold on to a narrative with Bitcoin that it's, some type of store of value, or it's going to replace gold, or it's going to be the world reserve currency. I don't hold on to any of those narratives. I go specifically on what the charts are saying. And the charts are saying that Bitcoin's reaching out to a 4.236 extension. That's precisely what happened at the end of the mega cycle back in 2013. For that, I just look at the math, I look at the chart, I say that all makes sense to me. That's probably the top of Bitcoin. So when it comes to XRP, we're dealing with all this SEC stuff. Prices are still low. It's sad. But I still lean on the facts that in each of the historical bull runs for XRP, they've happened when the top of Bitcoin is coming in. In 2017, XRP was 50% below its all-time high, while Ethereum was almost out to its 4.236 extension. Bitcoin was out to its extensions. Bitcoin was over $17,000 before XRP took off in 2017. So holding on to blind faith and everything is one thing, but I've got to have something to fall back on. So I look at what the structures of this whole correction have been in here for XRP, mirroring what we've seen in previous corrections for Bitcoin that led it to a huge price. And as you guys know, my hopes and expectations are that we can catch up to what the rest of the market is doing. That would put XRP somewhere between $10 and $13. But if you look at the extension of how far Bitcoin did go here, an equivalent pricing for XRP would be like $26 to $28. I don't hold on to that expectation. Nothing like that changes for me. I just follow the math and the measurements. I still stick to 10 to 13 because that's what the rest of the market is doing. The rest of the market reached out to those extensions. I hold on to that faith that that's what will happen too. But even if this is true, it's even more bullish than my expectations are. Because in this circumstance for Bitcoin, it did go off to do a full 4.236 extension while using the 236 at the top. Full extension. If you did something like that for XRP, it gets you way out there to about 26. Right there. but I don't lean on that. Otherwise, I just wanted to show you the whole structure, the whole consolidation that's happening in here is still identical to what we saw happen with Bitcoin back in 2014, 15, and 16. The market conditions of what we're seeing happening in the cryptocurrency market right now mirror what happens when XRP does go on a huge bull run, where the top of the Bitcoin price appears that it's very close based on the super mega cycle from 2013 and the 4.236 extension for Bitcoin. Both of those things have led to XRP firing out of here. And then stack on top of it, the whole correction that we've had for 7 months has mirrored what corrections look like that lead into very big bull runs. Will XRP take a whole year to get out there, or will it do like it normally does and just knock it out in 4 weeks? I don't know. I can't predict time. I wish I could predict time. I haven't found anybody out there who can accurately and consistently predict time, because if they did, if that person did exist, you better believe I'd be studying them like crazy, because the only question that ever matters in the comment section of my YouTube channel is when moon. And man, if I could answer that question, it'd be the biggest YouTube channel in the whole world. But it doesn't exist out there. There's no one out there accurately doing it consistently. And so for that, there's nowhere for me to study to get good at it. And just to humor it, right? So if we just kind of had some fun with it and humored it, let's just play it like this, right? So you could do this. You could say, this is how long it has taken XRP to get to this phase right here. And if we assume that something like that for Bitcoin will put you maybe around right here. I mean, that's probably my best guess to say that. We had an ABC come in for Bitcoin. You have an ABC coming in here. Somewhere in this area right in here, we could see, let's see, how long did that take for Bitcoin? That took 1,023 days to do that. And then by the time Bitcoin topped, it was 454 days later. So it took a little bit less than half the time it took to do that. So if XRP has taken 212 days to do this, and we say just a little bit less than that, put it right at about 100. I'm going to have to change the time frame here. Put it at just about 100 days or so. Where does that get you? That gets you to February of 2022. If you were going to have something similar like this happen, right? So what are we in right now? We're in November. That puts you out there in February. If it had that same type of growth curve happening for XRP right there. The major problem with all of that is when we look over to how these things have happened previously, and they just don't happen like that. They happen in these super straight lines that come out of there. And in most circumstances, give it 4 weeks and it's completely over. So will it take just a couple of weeks like it has historically, or will it take a whole year like the Bitcoin price chart did? I don't know. History says it doesn't take that long. History says it happens really fast. But either way, XRP is my biggest investment in the cryptocurrency market, and I'm really excited with the phase of the market that we're in right now. And what's been real interesting as well about all of this price action that we've had so far is that from a fractal perspective, if we go from here, you could see how fast it rose up. We didn't go quite nearly that fast. It took us like over a year to get that far, but you could see where the correction came in at, where the bottom was at, and where the correction came in at, and where we're at right now. And that we're right at this time period. And if there is going to be some type of symmetry or balance in the universe, well, hey, look, we're lined up right there for that to happen. So corrective wise, looks just like what Bitcoin did back in 2014, 15, 16. From a time perspective wise, this is what we have seen happen before the next leg comes up. And the interesting thing about this leg happening right here is it was when Bitcoin was coming in for its top. And we have Bitcoin. It got $3,000 short of hitting a 4.236 extension. We're right up there for Bitcoin. Similar market conditions are happening right now that were happening back here in 2017 when this happened. So everything about it has me excited, and everything on the charts looks good to me. And that's the thing that I pay attention to the most. And I know narratives out there can really sway us one way or another emotionally. Impatience can really sway us emotionally. But on the charts, everything looks good. And the market conditions are exactly what they've looked like leading into big bull runs for XRP as well. And so that's how we'll wrap up the week. I wanted to finish it with an XRP video. I've been under the weather. It's been like running through a marathon this week. I'm happy to enjoy the weekend. If you haven't noticed yet, I posted on Twitter. I've talked about it in my last couple of videos. I did add some updates over here on bcbacker.com. I added the Ethereum plan, or the exit plan for Ethereum Part 4 final update. And I added the blockchain backer exit plan Part 4 progress update over here. And most are familiar, but this is bcbacker.com, and this is a website. This is a course that I put together where I deep dive into the previous Bitcoin bull runs, the different altcoin market cycles. I tie them all together to show how the cryptocurrency market has worked in the past. I talk about my personal exit plans in here. I teach you how to set up your own charts and your own indicators using TradingView and CoinTrader Pro. And I talk a lot about mathematics and percentages and why those are so important to me. Like I mentioned, I did just add these updates just the other day. And the other market update I have in here is on October 31st. And this is available to anybody enrolled in the course and anybody who newly enrolls in the course over here on bcbacker.com. You can follow me over here on Twitter at bcbacker throughout the weekend. There won't be any videos this weekend. I am taking the weekend off. It was a long week with a lot of videos this week, but I will certainly be hanging out over here on Twitter. But otherwise, I hope that you have a wonderful weekend, and I want to thank you so much for watching my channel. If you could, please like this video and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you could be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice, and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.